Hello, Internet. Sorry about that. Yeah. Hi there, Internet. Sorry about that. Running this program turns out I only get 6 hours of consecutive broadcasts, and I used that 30-minute preamble with y'all at the beginning to check in and say, hey. And it looks like my broadcast ended before the end of episode 12. So we'll go ahead and finish up these last couple of scenes in episode 11, and then we're just going to go right into episode 12. So, thanks for participating. Thanks for all the engagement so far today. Fitting that towards the end of the broadcast it would get broken up, but this project is cursed, and I'm talking about. I fear I've said too much. Previously on the booth. Quilt had further connection. Quilt blanket, just sewed by Candace was the point of it. And Dre puts his books aside to look at the quilt. Dre says, okay, well, what is it? Candace says, it's a quilt I made for Mary. This is going to be their future daughter. This is the only first half of the quilt I made and designed for the other side. Dre reaches across and rubs Candace's baby bump. She smiles and gets up. Let me show you the other side. Dre turns back to his anatomy book, and when he turns back, Candace is now breastfeeding baby Mary. And she is using the quilt that she made, showing off the other side by using it to cover the baby while she breastfeeds. She's still sitting on the couch with Dre. She asks him, how are your studies? Dre answers, I don't know if I could do this. There's just so much to learn, plus so many body systems to learn. Candace just says, I believe in you. It's just another year before you'll be ready to graduate and even begin your career. Dre says, I guess, but there's so much to learn about what can go wrong with any of those systems. Organs and glands can have issues, and I'm expecting to know it all and to be able to help people in their time of need. Dre turns back to his book. The book that he picks up is not the one he needs, so he moves around to look for other books to find a specific one. Dre finds the one book, and then he turns pages until he finds what he's looking for. He turns the book back towards Candace, who's sitting on the couch wrapped in the quilt that she made. Mary, their daughter, is now 2 years old and playing quietly by herself on the floor in the background. Dre says, see, fatigue, body aches, they won't go away. This could be a serious problem, anything from Addison's disease to cancer, maybe even an STD. Are you having unprotected sex? She gives him a look. Of course not. But, shout out to reality and who might realize how shitty that joke is. But anyways, Candace throws a pillow at him. She says, you're being paranoid. You've learned about all these things, but I'm just fine. I'm just tired. I'm going back to work, and, we got our kid here. I'm just tired. You're worrying too much. Dre gets up from the couch. He walks over to Mary, picks her up, brings her to the other room, kind of just putting her off to bed for a second. When he returns to the couch, Candace is now showing signs of illness in the script. Dre says, I don't think you're worried enough. Candace says, yeah, the doctor says it could be cancer, but we're waiting on the test. Maybe I'm just low on vitamin D. Dre says, you know how this goes. You work in home health care. I've seen it all before because you sent me on all these jobs as a caregiver when people are in this stage of life. You don't think I can recognize them in my own home, says Dre. Candace says, why aren't you working on your certification to be an EMT, to be a medic? You should be reading. Dre says, I took a break on that to be here with you and Mary. Candace screams, I don't need a caregiver. Dre says, I just want to spend time with you. All we do is work. Is it wrong that I want to be with you, says Dre. Candace says, but I don't want to be the reason you give up on your career. You watch me fade away. I want you to focus, study, and help people the way you do. Dre says, I don't care about a career job or a dream job. I'm living my dream ever since I've met you. And I'm here to take care of you until this passes. Hell of a word choice, says there. Hell of a word choice, husband, says Candace. Dre lays himself back on the couch. As he lays back, Candace slowly moves over to him, and they cuddle together on the couch with a bowl of popcorn. Dre offers Candace popcorn. She's pale. She's lost her hunger, so she waves no. Mary, who's now 4 years old, is watching the movie next to Dre and on the other side of the couch. Candace asks, is this okay? And Dre says this is perfect. Candace falls asleep on Dre's shoulder as he watches the movie with Mary, Candace wrapped in her blanket. Then Dre says in voiceover, when it happens fast. It starts off with being tired and then it slowly eats you away. Fuck cancer. And we're back in real time with Ryan and Dre sitting together as he gets back to that point where he asks him, well, what's it like raising a kid now and how are those things going? We finally got the closure of what happens and gave more of a reason as to why she wasn't there at the end of the script. And I wrote that scene as my own version of the ending of 2001. I tried to play with the idea of writing it in a way that it appears as a oneer, as a long one take, just watching these characters transition through years of their life. And in the time since I first wrote the script and the time since I have lived in this life currency now, it made sense to go that route versus just the random car accident. Especially that foreshadowing I've been giving ever since the beginning. If you go back and listen to the script, there's been a lot of foreshadowing of this going forward, just sort of in the background in the dialogue. And this is mainly because over the last few years I've had, through COVID, cancer and other things, lost so many good people. And sharing the last episode, I was getting some feedback. What was being told to me was, why have such a super realism, dark and unhappy type ending? And I guess I explained it as this. Some art is meant to be the escapism. You suspend your disbelief and you just escape into a magical world, and some of it's supposed to be cinema of the true art and true life. And I think too much in cinema we show everybody winning. We show it always working out. We show it always becoming the win at the end. Everybody gets what they want. Their dreams come true, when I know for a fact the sad reality of nearly most of us and most average people, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes we do take an L, and the more L's we take, the harder it is to go forward and participate the same way. Which is why, why we tell this story in the first place. It starts off as a father just reading a bedtime story to his daughter, but takes the entire movie's worth of time to bring the audience into the world of these characters and realize these are real characters in an artistic representation of a capitalist world, doing the best they can and trying to live life to the fullest while they can. I know I went for kind of a out-of-the-way twist ending, and I know that it came out of the blue and maybe didn't feel earned in episode 10, so I hope here in episode 11 you see why I chose to go that route. And we'll see if this 2001 style montage ending actually plays on screen and works with an audience. Who knows? It's all part of the production process, isn't it? I don't think I have anything else to add. I've literally put everyone around me to sleep, so. Oh wait, I know what I need to add. Let's kick it to Mr. BPG. Hello, Internet. Mr. BPG here. Trapped in a box. Inside of a box. Inside of another box. Sure would be nice to get paid once in a while, but I haven't
3, 2, 1.
figured out that cheat
All
code.
systems activated. Password accepted.
To be the life of a contented cat. To know not the struggle of going out to finding things. To know not the time that it takes to grow and change from season to ghost. To just be blessed in the care of people who love you and protect you. There she goes. What'd that squirrel say to you, huh? They said, haha. She said, haha, I is wild tree dog and you is in-house dog. You do not have the freedom to go off and hunt and gather your own food. All the pets love watching the burbs and the squirrels share the food. What typically happens is the squirrels will knock the food down, and the burbs will come and take the left. Burbs like the little rice pieces. Squirrels like all the big pieces. And we got a whole neighborhood of them. It entertains the dogs. It keeps them from making a mess of the garbage, because here they are. They just get to munch on that avocado. In the early days, people took pictures on film. We processed that film, cut it together, and then piece it back into one long strip of film that ran through a projector. Literally my favorite job I've ever done. And over the years, the job basically disappeared. Here I am at the end of the story as Mr. BPG, the writer, director, photographer, and editor, trying to become the philosopher in his storytelling. So yeah, Booth Monkeys, screen read through episode 12. I really hope you enjoyed my commentary version of this read through. You aren't messing up Nix. This is what this bread is doing. Stop. Not only are you ruining the take, but you're putting the little fly sticky tape on things that it doesn't belong on. That is not a toy. Kids, right? The human ones and the fur ones are always the same. They want attention. They want to play. They want love. They want food, and it's up to you to provide it for them. So getting back to why I chose to tell the Booth Monkey story the way I did is because I've been trying to make this movie for years. And never before have I had the life currency I needed to tell the story that is worth listening to. And now I finally do. So where we left off was right as Ryan and Dre were about to finish talking after meeting for the first time. Interior living room morning now. Dre and Ryan clap hands and hug. Ryan leaves and Dre locks the door behind him. Dre goes to the couch and falls asleep wrapped in his personal quilt. And now we do an audio drop where we do a visual effects montage with a bunch of different footage and shots coming up. So interior Dre home montage. I want to do a VFX shot where Dre moves at a slow pace, basically moving like a tired person would. While in the background, he gets up from the couch, goes to the door to say goodbye to Mary, and then goes back to the couch. But while that's happening, Mary is moving at 50 times normal speed with the rest of the day. She's able to get up, make herself lunch and breakfast, and kind of get herself ready by the time Dre gets to the door to give her a hug goodbye. And then by the time Dre gets back to the couch, she's home, and on the couch they meet there. Essentially, the day goes by with Mary moving around the apartment they're living in, while Dre never leaves the couch. They do homework, and eventually they fall asleep together on the couch watching movies, trying to simulate that feeling of what it's like when you feel pretty sick. You kind of wake up and you just feel sick, and you kind of sleep through the day. I don't know if anyone's gone through that, but it is that sort of, I'm getting too old and too fat for this feeling, and you realize you got to make some changes and you got to do some things to figure it out. Interior Dre home morning montage continues. Dre and Mary are at the front door with their stuff ready to leave for the day. She gives him a big hug. He hugs her back. Mary says, "I love you, Papa. Will you be here after school?" Dre says, "I'm sorry, my love. You know work brings me home at my usual time." Mary says, "Well, I'll be counting the birds until you come home." Dre whistles like a bird, and they walk out together. As they walk out, there is a bird clock on the wall, and it whistles that it is 5 a.m. Interior, exterior, car, morning montage. Dre drives past the old empty mall and sees every day while driving to work. Same mall he used to work at. He sees a sign for a building that is for lease. He looks at it for a long time, so long that the light he is waiting at turns from red to green, and the car behind him begins to honk its horn. Exterior, retirement hospital, morning montage. Dre parks his truck at the hospital. Dre parks the can't even read my own stupid sentence. Dre parks the truck at the hospital he works at. The sun is barely rising over the horizon. Interior, retirement hospital, morning montage. Dre walks through the hospital trying to be helpful here and there. He is a companion. He occasionally cleans. He's being helpful, but he's sad while doing it. During his small moments, he looks at pictures of his family on his phone, knowing he won't see them for the next 12 hours. He tries to share moments with his patients, but he always has the same blank face, and we never see the faces of the patients he's helping. Exterior, retirement hospital, night, montage. Dre walks out of the hospital alone. He walks to his car. The day is now over. He gets in the car, starts it, drives it away. Interior of Dre's home at night. Dre walks inside his home and finds Mary's already asleep on the couch. He settles in next to her on the couch with his laptop. She wakes up lightly and gets more comfortable next to him while he works. And on a VFX, I want to show Dre opening up his computer screen, showing that he's working on memes and the latest internet things. And then we will start to show that he's working with Ryan in the background as things are about to get better. Exterior car morning in the montage. We're going to do a VFX shot or some sort of long shutter speed shot where 7 days worth of sunrise to sunset and all the nights in between with the beautiful sky that exists. I would love to do one long running take that lasts something like the Attenborough movies did. But anyways, on the seventh sunrise, we actually see as the shot is set up, we spot Dre stopping at the red lights each direction he goes. And each time he goes by, we see the now leasing building. Until on the seventh day, Dre pulls up to the intersection, but instead of driving past the leasing building, he turns into it, where Ryan and Jenny are waiting for him. Now we're at the exterior of the Booth Monkeys Small Business. This is where we get to the good stuff. So Booth Monkeys Small Business. They end the montage, sort of, because there's still a little bit more montage-y things here, but this is here we get to the end. Dre and Ryan clap hands and hug again as Jenny pops a cork on a bottle of champagne. Mary jumps up and down with excitement. This is young Mary. The now leasing sign is removed, and then we hear an older Mary voiceover say, "So Grandpa Dre and his best friend Ryan opened a small business on the internet." And we cut to the interior of Mary's home, child's bedroom, at night in the future. There is a small boy sitting on his bed listening to an adult Mary as she tells him the story of the Booth Monkeys. The boy is holding a small plush Booth Monkey toy. Merch in the description. I'm just kidding. I don't have merch yet, but this is the whole part one. No, we'll get to the business in the business section. Anyways, so the grandson says, "Wait, is that when Grandpa became an internet monkey?" Mary laughs it off and says, "Sort of." And then we flash back to interior retirement home hospital day. Young Mary holds Dre's hand as he walks her through the retirement home. At this point, she knows everyone, so she's high-fiving people. She sets up a backpack with supplies in it in a community room, and the patients of the hospital help her with her homework and making art. Grandpa Dre continued to work at... Oh, back in Mary's voice. Grandpa Dre continued to work at the retirement hospital part-time while they made the business called the Booth Monkeys, where they made short videos on the internet. It's a little meta, but we're getting there. Hold on. Interior Booth Monkeys Small Business Day. Young Mary watches as Dre and Ryan from behind the camera. They're making funny faces and animated actions in front of a green screen. Just showing some basic, these guys are making internet videos, as Mary continues to voice over. First, it was sharing memes, but eventually became activist. They worked towards empowering his former co-workers and inspiring union membership, making things better for his former colleagues and the patient he cared for. Interior, Mary's child bedroom, night and future. Grandson says, and then he made $1 million? Mary says, not quite. He made a bunch of content on the internet and got lots of views, making the Booth Monkey brand. But he also became an activist for all of those in need, so... We cut to the interior of Jenny and Ryan's home at night. Ryan opens the door with Jenny at his side. They smile big and offer hugs. Mary's voiceover continues. We did find more time together. Papa found a way to not always be at work after that day. Uncle Ryan and Aunt Jenny became my new afternoon school adult supervisors when Grandpa was not out working and he couldn't bring me with. Then we cut to a shot of Jenny bringing young Mary into their home, and he shows her a new writing desk that they got for her and a small library with books in it. And Mary begins to look at the books. Ryan brings Dre over to a box on the table in the kitchen. He reaches inside and pulls out a white hoodie with the Booth Monkey logo on it. Interior, Small Business Day. The small business has grown. It now resembles the old booth with movie posters on the walls, multiple desks and figurines on the walls as well. Mary's voiceover continues. He and Uncle Ryan's show was popular. Jenny turned out to be a great manager, and she helped them invest their profit into other people's businesses. And we cut to the exterior of the small business night. Exterior. We cut to the exterior of the Booth Monkey Small Business at night, and we realize that all the empty stores at this once vacant strip mall have now opening signs. Now all have grand opening signs for other small businesses. Kind of getting to the greater point that we're working towards in this whole shebang we're going on. Now we go to the interior Dre home night. Dre and Ryan are sitting together on the couch. There are new friends around the home chatting and snacking. Young Mary runs from the kitchen with her drinks in her hand and jumps onto the beanbag in front of the TV. Everyone else proceeds to find space around the TV. Jenny turns down the lights and settles in next to Ryan. Dre uses a remote control to start a movie. Mary's voiceover continues. We started our weekly movie night. It was our favorite night of the week. We would watch classic movies, documentaries, even some sports. Young Mary looks back at Dre and smiles. She turns back to the movie. She's wrapped in her mother's quilt. Mary's voiceover continues. I miss my mom the most, but because of the stories we shared with me, the conversations we had when they were all around my life, I still felt like I knew her. Plus, each and every movie night was a reminder of her love, and I always felt like she was right there watching the movie with me. And we cut to a shot of Candace and Mary sitting together on the beanbag, wrapped in their quilts, watching the movie together. Kind of goes into my own personal philosophy of, as long as you're still thinking about your loved ones, as long as they're still thinking about you, they're probably not that far off. Interior, Mary's home at night. Future, Mary's son is now asleep. She tucks him in with her mom-made quilt on him. And then we cut to the exterior, Mary's large home at night. A pulling out wide angle to show the new home upgrade. And the last line of the Booth Monkeys is the daughter who is being read a bedtime story, reading to her child. And we all lived happily ever after. The end. Of the screenplay read-through. But here's the actual business that I'm trying to get to. As we zoom in, the Booth Monkeys is a 3-part thing. It's a movie about movie lovers, and it's become a lot more than that. In addition to being a screenplay that I wrote once upon a time, I'm writing a business plan to turn it into a movie. We have done 12 episodes worth of a read-through, and there's still going to be a clean read-through of the script. We're also working on a new idea for movie onlines and show promotion. But that's all based on the investment we want to make at this spot right here. Inside the mall, there is a perfectly functioning looking theater, which shouldn't take much to get going. I kind of want to do what we do in the movie. I want to take over a movie theater and actually act out the concept they pitch earlier on in the movie, where we get a movie theater and we decorate it to make the Booth Monkeys movie inside of it. And then once it's ready to go, well, it's a 21st century film theater. This is located in the center of a major hub of all things. We're in a mega city now with all the sprawl that we have. There's no reason why we shouldn't have some attractions at this big empty mall. And I realize that what this area has a ton of is big business. What it doesn't have a lot of is small business. And I think it's time we gave these mall spaces back to the small business. Once we get the theater decorated and dressed up for the Booth Monkeys, we might as well continue to exhibit movies. I love the idea of having a 365-day-a-year theater that is basically an archive of old film prints that plays these film prints all throughout the year based on whatever the popular season is. We've already got a location that's completely empty but perfectly decorated to be the theater for the Booth Monkeys. I would love to do exactly what we say we're going to do in the Booth Monkeys, which is take over a small location and then promote businesses from within, creating new projects, creating a creator space in some of the bigger spaces that are not being occupied by these major corporations anymore, and try to create generally a business hub for small businesses with lots of on-site help. There should be the FedEx or some sort of shipping assistance, packaging. Boy, we're going to need some tax help. I wonder which one of those corporations wants to jump in and have a bunch of tax specialists there to help all these new small businesses as they try to make their way in. Because the truth is, this mall's been empty for a while. And if anything this movie is truly about, it's about figuring out what the modern American dream is and finding a way to do it. And that's what we here at the Booth Monkeys are trying to do. There are big open spaces. That old Sears property looks pretty tame for possible creator studio. Space where we can set up empty recording spaces, green screen walls, basically that small business idea that the guys are talking about in the theater. Episode 12 is my call to action. At this point, if you're seeing this, I've probably been a part of your life in some minor or major way. Minor for you, major for me, major for you, minor for me. It's really hard to tell at this point. And the truth is I would love for you to share this video. I would love for this video to get in front of the right people. And I would love for the production to start rolling with people who understand how to manage this side of my talents to produce large profits. Not that I actually want any of it for myself, because again, I'm happy with what I have and the way I have it. I don't go into life desiring more. I'm content, but at the same time, I want to be able to grow. I want to be able to leave businesses, homes, and continued passive income through my content for those I care for, while hopefully inspiring others to follow that same path. Every day I come home exhausted, wondering, when am I going to put my foot down and say, this is the way? Just trust me to make this project. Allow me to work and exhaust myself in the background the way I am. I'm getting along pretty well with pets and having having a great experience in my second course of adult education and advancement in my career. Will you leave my ties alone? This is the call to action. At this point, it's me, Mr. BPG. I've been trying to make this movie for years, and never before have I had the life currency I needed to tell the story that is worth listening to, and now I finally do. We've got a perfect location lined up. We just need you to get on board as our investors. A sincere call out to all of those that I've touched over the years, those friends, or those colleagues, or, those coworkers, or hell, even some of those I taught along the way. Thank you for your support thus far. I am legitimately calling out to you saying, hey, this is our time to team up. Let's join this team. Let's join Team Booth Monkeys. Let's, sign a petition to save a business in a local community. Let's draw people out to communicate and be with each other in closeness. Let's make some movies, make some love, make some drama, make some money along the way, hopefully. Hopefully together we can make something great. And they all lived happily ever after. So, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for spending most of the day with me here on my birthday weekend. Working from home, showing off all the recordings. Happy with the work I've done so far. But this is just the beginning. We're literally at the stage where all we're doing is trying to get the brand out there, trying to get the script reading done. And, there'll be further script readings and other things, but this might be the last you hear of me until the movie's made. Because basically after this, it's lyric videos and then trying to get this movie made and become a reality. I'd love to keep talking to you, but I got a couple of diggity dogs that have been waiting patiently for a walk. And so I'm out of here for the day. Thanks for watching. I love you, my wife. And y'all have a wonderful evening.